The new Pixel 10 Pro Fold has some amazing features that Apple needs to steal like ASAP. During my time living with the 10 Pro Fold, I found 5 features that I think would completely change the way iPhone users interact with their phone, because I found myself missing them every time I had to jump back to this. Because imagine if Siri actually worked the way that Gemini does, and is that even possible? Let's talk about it and see if any of these features can actually make it to the iPhone. So our first feature is the ability to fold. So Apple's probably one of the only companies right now without a folding option. And let me tell you guys, it completely changes the way you interact with your phone, especially with the way Google implements it. So they have a really nice form factor where it's not a giant phone like the folding phones used to be in the past. This one feels really good in the hand. When you're using it without it open, it feels natural. It feels like you're using a standard phone. But then you get the huge bonus of having a beautiful 8-inch display accessible to you. So whenever you want to watch content, play games, or maybe even multitask, you've got a way bigger screen to do it with. Not to mention, Google went and updated their folding mechanism so that this is now a IP68 water and dust resistant folding phone, which is the first of its kind on the market. And that's really impressive. Durability is one of the biggest fears with folding devices, and now you don't really have to worry about that. Now, the thing is, could the iPhone ever do this? Well, a lot of people are under the assumption that the introduction of the iPhone Air, this is Apple testing the waters of having all of their hardware in a really thin body. I mean, you slap 2 of these together and you might be looking at the next iPhone Fold. But if you want a foldable today, this is one of the best options. Now, this next feature could completely change the game for families. So if you jump into the camera app and you open up the phone, you get this really cool feature called Made You Look. So right now, it looks like I'm ready to take a normal photo, but on the other side, you'll see that I've got a little cartoon playing right here. And this is for kids to actually smile during a photo. If you're a parent or you've got nieces and nephews, you know how difficult it is to get kids to smile or focus on the camera, and this makes it all possible. So while you're taking a picture, it can have like sounds, and you can pick different kinds of animations to make the kids laugh. So, you know, it'll get their attention, get them looking over here at the screen. So this is amazing for their like focus on the camera and getting them to genuinely smile instead of these fake, weird ones that they do sometimes. And I wish there was some way we could do that with iPhones. Now, this feature isn't brand new to the 10 Pro Fold. They actually had it in last year's model, but this year they did come out with some new animations. That way you're not using the same ones over and over. Kids might get used to it. So having some new animations to switch it up and surprise them, definitely a nice touch. Now, taking pictures of your kids is a universal thing. Would we ever see it on the iPhone? Not unless Apple does come out with like a folding phone. Apple, even if you cut this thing out and put a screen in there, that we could use this as the screen, like simply to make kids laugh.
It's perfect size.
Isn't it? Just for that. We don't need it to do anything else. Nah, it would be. Could you imagine a screen on the back? I think we're not worried about the price, bro. Let us live in our fantasy world. A screen in the back, pictures would be crazy. It'd be like Vision Pro money. Yeah. Now, this next feature, in my opinion, is like a no-brainer, and that's having a fingerprint scanner built into the power button. So being able to unlock it and authenticate at the exact same time with one button press, why isn't everybody doing this? And this isn't even a groundbreaking feature. It just makes a lot of sense. Now, there are a bunch of phones with fingerprint scanners, whether it's on the power button or built into the screen. Forget the screen, power button only. That needs to be the absolute standard. Apple teased us with Touch ID in the past, then they completely got rid of it because they got rid of the home button. But Apple, hello, you have a power button right here. And Apple can't act like they don't know what I'm talking about because they did it on the iPad mini. Apple has the technology. They just don't want to give it to us for some reason. I don't get it. You have your Face ID, that's fine to be there, but listen, there's nothing like being able to just use the fingerprint scanner, especially when you're making like purchases or you just need to unlock a certain part of your phone. This is so much more reliable. And the performance of it with the 10 Pro Fold, it's like instant. Tell me that wouldn't change the way you use your iPhone. Just just bam, just let me in. Come on, Apple, you're already doing it. Now the Pixel 10 Pro Fold has another feature that I think is absolutely amazing, and that's the Ask Photos to Edit. So check it out. If I wanted to take a photo of this plant over here, I can jump into my camera app, take the photo. Now here's the thing, most people don't know how to edit photos, and with a phone like this, that's okay. If you wanna make this photo better, like right now, this photo's decent, but I can see a bunch of stuff wrong with it. All you have to do is still go into edit. You tap this little typing area right here. You can even hit the microphone. Make this photo better. And automatically, it'll go and make a bunch of edits to it to improve the image. And then not only that, it gives you a few options for you to choose from. So right now, the phone just told me it adjusted the lighting and the colors in these options over here. And that in itself can change everything for someone who likes their photos, but wish they just looked better. And I could even do stuff like this. I can take a picture of Oscar over here, make this photo better. Oh, I like that. So right now, it adjusted the lighting, added some depth, and it zoomed in on Oscar a little bit more. So I think like this was like the original, and this is what it ended up as. But like, that's a lot of power at the fingertips of folks who have no idea how to do any of that. So while you're just scrubbing through your regular photos, you don't need to jump into a special photo editing app or anything. It's just right here in your main photo gallery. And you can get wild if you want to. Me in particular, I'm not a fan of like crazy AI edits. So Google software and their Tensor G5 chip makes that all possible with the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. Could we see that ever happen with the iPhone? Now, when it comes to the regular Photos app, I don't know if Apple's gonna go that far with like the AI editing portion. We do have like the cleanup feature where you can remove certain things from your photo. That's about as far as the AI goes with the photos here. But Google's Photos app is also on the iPhone. So this actually is able to do some of the stuff that we see here. You can't just ask it to make the edits for you. But there are some AI features that you can access from the Photos app itself. But I don't know if we'll ever see Google let that feature come to other smartphones or if they're gonna keep it on the Pixel. But it is a huge one. I was gonna say my mom would love that. I don't even think she'd recognize that a photo needs to be edited. She might just be like, there go my grandkids, and like half their faces in the shot. Now, the last feature that's on this phone that I think would make things crazy for iPhone users is Magic Q. So Magic Q is Google's AI implementation across almost the entire phone. So this phone is smart enough to know what you've got going on in your life and makes it easier to access all kinds of your information so you don't have to go digging for it.
How does it work actually?
All right, so let's say somebody texts you, right? And they ask, hey, can you send me the picture of us at the park from the other day? It can give you suggestions on what photos to send without you having to dig into the Photos app so that you can find that. It also works like if you have to make a phone call. Let's say you call a restaurant, you've got a reservation, and I don't know, you want to make a special note or something. You can actually get all that info popped up right on the phone app so you can easily share it with whoever's on the other line.
Same with the flight.
Yeah, exactly, that example. So let's say you're calling your airlines, you've got a flight coming up. It'll automatically populate with the flight reservation, the number, the time of the flight, all the details that you would need for that phone call. Automatically, it would populate it so that you have all of that accessible. It is just the right way AI should be implemented into a phone. And it's kind of like Jarvis. I like that. I like Jarvis better than Gemini, but Gemini is pretty solid too. Now, could the iPhone do it? They've been trying to. With Siri, we've been promised a lot with Apple Intelligence. It's a lot of similar features in terms of like what this can do right now versus what was promised with the iPhone. It is not there yet with the iPhone at all. Is it possible though? I'd like to believe so, but we haven't seen that come to the actual phones just yet. That version of Apple Intelligence, it exists in theory, and we've been promised some things. We'll have to wait for whenever that's ready, but it's not ready yet. But this really is, and I've been saying this for a long time, that kind of implementation of AI is what changes the way you use your phone. Being able to access that info feels like you have a legitimate assistant in your phone helping you out, and I think that's where we are with Gemini and Google's implementation of it across the entire device. So from a convenience side of things, Google kind of has it on lock with that feature, but honestly, a lot of their AI implementation is just so good here. From the ask photos to edit, the magic queue, even translating phone calls between two different language speakers. If you guys haven't seen that feature in action, I actually demonstrated it in a previous video with the Pixel 10 Pro XL, and it is mind-blowing. Like, my barber was like, yo, what is going on? Check it out. I have it linked down below in the description. But guys, using this phone is an entirely different experience from using an iPhone. And if I were Apple, I would get to stealing right away, because I think an iPhone Fold would be fantastic, especially the way Google's doing it. I'm curious what you guys think would be a great feature to add down below. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. I think Google did their thing with this one. Between this and the Z Fold 7, foldables are having a good year.
And the Oppo?
And Oppo, can't forget about Oppo. Apple, you got 24 hours.